Hello and welcome. The president vows to go tough on those he says are bent on destroying the country, insists culprits will soon get the shock of their lives, as he promises full support for INEC and remove any excuse for third term. Voters in Nigeria to register online for future elections as the Independent National Electoral Commission opens portal on June 28th. 1999 Constitution falls short of standard, declares House of Representatives Speaker, as the lower chamber begins nationwide public hearing on amendment of document. And the World Health Organization approves China's Sinovac COVID vaccine for emergency use. Plus we'll have business, sports, news from Abuja, and later on international news from our London studio.
On business news tonight, crude oil prices climbed to two-year high as OPEC and its allies agree to continue gradual easing of production output cuts in July.
Now begins his Roland Garros campaign in style after taking down Alexei Popyrin in straight sets.
From Abuja, about 2 million eligible Nigerians received first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine, 66% of them frontline workers.
Attacks on INEC facilities across the country are a huge concern for the electoral umpire. 42 of such incidents have been recorded in at least 14 states in recent times as the Commission gears up for the 2023 general elections and some off-season polls. This huge security concern formed part of the discussion between the President and the leadership of INEC today, and they got some assurances. The President issued a stern warning to those whom he says are plotting to destroy the country, saying they will soon receive the shock of their lives. President Buhari told them that he receives daily security reports on the attacks and that it's clear to him that those behind the attacks want his administration to fail.
It is very clear that they intend to make sure that this administration fails. I'm getting good intelligence report on a daily basis. The question of insecurity in the country is being mentioned all over the world, not only here in Nigeria. But I believe there are Nigerians that will attempt at least to be fair. By what I believed, that I will run the country according to the Constitution. Now, with all these people who want power, whoever they are, have they proved that I was not following the Constitution? Well, am I not leading the country according to the Constitution? What do they want? So whoever wanted diversion or destruction of the system at this point, I think will soon have their shock of their lives. I think we have given them enough latitude. They have made their case. They just wanted to destroy the country. Simple. Because what do they want? And we are concentrating on infrastructure because no country or institution can be developed without infrastructure. Now, for those of us who are unfortunate to be in the field for the 30 months of the Civil War, to see the carnage of how we kill ourselves, at least 1 million people, I think those that are misbehaving, they were either too young, they didn't know what happened. But for those of us who went through all these things, we can't understand. So we will treat them in the language they understand. So I feel for your understanding and so on. We are going to be very hard sooner than later. We have done our best, changed the service chiefs and the IG. We allow them time to go around to make necessary changes for them to be firmly in charge. We'll try and give them the resources they require, and we will demand security sooner than later. I thank you very much for your presentation. I assure you that this administration will do whatever we can do for you so that we don't give anybody excuse to blame us that we don't want to go or want to have a third term.
Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari. And apart from meeting with the President, the Independent National Electoral Commission has also been reeling out steps towards the adoption of digital technology in the country's election process. And one way it plans to achieve this is the launch of an online continuous voter registration exercise, which will allow prospective voters and first-time voters to register online beginning from the 28th of this month. Those who want to adjust their details can also do so with ease. Our political correspondent, Seun Okimbaloye, reports.
It is day 2 of INEC top officials across the country meeting here in Lagos. They are still behind this door brainstorming on what is next for Nigeria election in the coming years.
Our colleagues in the fourth estate.
And the years in question are between 2022 and 2026. Today is a turn of the resident electoral commissioners across the country, and they're here to ratify the action plans worked on at the state and regional levels. Speakers upon speakers brainstorming on the way forward, development partners supporting the umpire.
We commended INEC for example, engaging with stakeholders for the expansion of voter access.
But here is one thing INEC has in the offing that will make voters happy. Voter registration has now gone digital.
It's going to start on the 28th of June, and we are introducing the online registration, where people will be expected to register online and complete the registration physically.
One of the major worries for INEC is a series of attacks on its different facilities across the country. We caught up with one of the resident electoral commissioners of one of the southeast states that has experienced these attacks firsthand. His fears are palpable.
It's a very serious issue. It's actually a very serious issue. Even the expansion of access to polling units, which we conducted, was not easy. There was too much of fear and insecurity around. We are hoping and praying that government should do something very serious about insecurity. If not, there is no doubt about it, it's going to be a very big threat to the 2023 elections.
That is a serious statement which spells doom for our elections. In few months, INEC will go to the field to organize a governorship election, and one hopes this threat will fade away soon. Seun Okimbaloye, reporting for Channels Television News.
The 1999 Constitution has thrown up some controversy among political watchers, especially now that the two chambers of the National Assembly have agreed to effect some amendments. Today, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, said the Constitution falls short of standards and needs to be adjusted to meet with the aspirations of Nigerians. He made the comments at the opening of the House of Reps public hearing in Lagos with a plea to Nigerians to help the Ninth Assembly birth a new document that will fix some of the country's challenges.
A nation's constitution is the foundation of its existence. It is supposed to set the terms of our nationhood and define who we are in a manner that reflects both our common truths and highest aspirations. Our constitution falls short of this standard because the 1999 Constitution is the product of a hurried national compromise that we entered into 2 decades ago in order to ensure that the military returned to the barracks and that we returned to democratic government. It was always the intention that we will one day, as one people and one nation, return to amend this document so that it gives voice to the yearnings of the Nigerian people and sets out in clear detail how we intend to achieve the shared ambitions of our nationhood. Providence has cast upon the 9th National Assembly the responsibility to write such a constitution for the Nigerian people. Yes, there is no perfect document, but we need a near-perfect constitution in Nigeria. We can achieve that through substantive amendments that significantly alter the character of our nation. Therefore, the task before us now is to use this process of review and amendment to devise for ourselves a constitution that resolves the issues of identity and political structure, of human rights and the administration of government, resource control, national security, and so much else that have fractured our nation and hindered our progress and prosperity. Our job is to produce a constitution that turns the page on our past, yet heeds its many painful lessons. It is not an easy task, but it is a necessary and urgent one.
A similar process also held across the southern states, with politicians, traditional rulers, civil society groups and other stakeholders presenting papers for the amendment process.
It's day one of the House of Representatives public hearing in the Southeast Zone, a crucial part of the exercise to amend the 1999 Constitution. The two-day exercise is holding in Enugu, which is also the center for delegates from Anambra and Ebonyi states. The state governor, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, Deputy Minority Leader Toby Okechukwu, other House of Representatives members, State Assembly members, representatives of civil society organizations and other delegates are here.
For 5 minutes.
Declaring the public hearing open, Governor Ugwuanyi says he hopes the exercise will help produce a constitution which guarantees an egalitarian society.
I specifically declared our fervent support to amendments in our constitution that will enhance the unity and prosperity of Nigeria.
The Deputy Minority Leader assures all delegates that their contributions will be reflected in the working documents to be considered by the 9th Assembly.
On our part, we assure you that your views will count.
Again, the issue of gender equality and diversity comes to the fore, and this participant is clear about her expectations.
Provide for gender diversity in legislative leadership and executive positions and for related matters.
The House of Representatives is also executing the regional public hearing on the Constitution in the Southwest, and Ondo State is hosting participants from Ekiti and Osun states. As a curtain raiser, Honorable Peter Akpatason says it is crucial to re-establish the terms on which the federating units in Nigeria will continue to coexist, and encourages participants to make their inputs.
The way out of this situation that we currently find ourselves in the country is to look at the very basis for our coexistence as a nation, to look at the rules governing our social contract with a view to bringing about practical changes.
For this traditional ruler, it's important to revert to earlier constitutional provisions on the Council of Traditional Rulers.
Before 1999 Constitution, you have establishing a Council of Traditional Rulers. But under the present 1999 Constitution, there is no such thing in the Constitution. And that is why we've been advocating all along that they should be brought back to the Constitution.
There is also a call to allow for local government representation in the Federal Account Allocation Committee, as well as proposals for a unicameral legislature in order to avoid wastage.
Last week, we made presentation to the Senate. I thought that was all. They are both National Assembly. This week, the House of Rep, they are doing their own. You can see the area of wastage.
As the National Assembly continues to mop up inputs from Nigerians across the country, citizens hope the exercise will culminate in a much-desired socio-economic change.
In part two, after the break, public hearing for constitution amendment holds in the north, plus Senate mourns APC chieftain Ahmed Golak, who was killed in Imo State on Sunday, blames situation on faulty security system. That's in a moment. To join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. The president vows to go tough on those whom he says are bent on destroying the country, insists culprits will soon get the shock of their lives, as he promises full support for INEC and remove any excuse for third term. Voters in Nigeria to register online for future elections as the Independent National Electoral Commission opens portal on June 28th. 1999 Constitution falls short of standard, declares House of Representatives Speaker, as the lower chamber begins nationwide public hearing on amendment of the document. And the World Health Organization approves China's Sinovac COVID vaccine for emergency use. The public hearing for the amendment of the Constitution also held across some northern states. Local government autonomy, removal of immunity from governors and the president, as well as their deputies, form part of the key proposals for participants. Our correspondent Terry Ikumi reports.
The House of Representatives begins its zonal public hearings on Constitution review, a week after the commencement of that of the Senate. In Bauchi State, the NLC chapters of Borno, Yobe and Bauchi State present a harmonized submission calling for withdrawal of immunity.
Immunity clause with particular reference to criminal investigation and prosecutions should be removed from the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and allow state governors and their deputies, president and his vice, to undergo criminal and other investigations when the situation warrants.
The Bauchi State Governor on his part reiterates his position on the creation of Katagum State.
We are greatly concerned that smaller states than Bauchi have more local governments and representatives in the House of Representatives and get more funds than Bauchi State on the Federation account.
Meanwhile, in Adamawa State, the Labour Union and the state governor appear to be on the same page concerning local government autonomy.
On the devolution of powers and economic and socio-economic, cultural and political issues, we have also advanced our arguments on other matters of national importance. These issues include local government autonomy, legislative autonomy, and the judicial autonomy.
It should be provided in the Constitution that the local government should be granted autonomy in terms of their administration. The tenure of office for all local governments should be uniform throughout the Federation. Financial autonomy should be granted in the Constitution.
Governor Fintiri further advises that there is no perfect constitution anywhere in the world, and what is required is the collective resolve of citizens to allow the available provisions work. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
The Senate is mourning the gruesome murder of a chieftain of the ruling All Progressives Congress, Ahmed Golak, in Owerri, the Imo State capital. The Senate condemned the killing and the country's failing security, and also called on security agencies to investigate and bring to book all those who plotted and carried out the assassination. Our correspondent Linda Akigbe reports.
Not one or two, but 7 observances during Tuesday's plenary session for the repose of the souls of Nigerians mostly killed in various attacks in the last few days across the country. It's an indication of the severity of insecurity in the country.
It is very, very important that we step up our legislative intervention in ensuring that we protect the lives and property of Nigerians to reduce the incidence of 1-minute silence.
The first 1-minute silence is for a chieftain of the ruling All Progressives Congress, Mr. Ahmed Gulak, who was killed in Owerri, the Imo State capital.
We urge that the security services, the police and the DSS most especially, should thoroughly investigate and bring to book all those, Mr. President, who plotted and carried out this assassination, Mr. President.
Senator Sabi Abdullahi informs the upper chamber of the killings of some people in Niger State by bandits and the worsening insecurity in the state.
Yesterday and today, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I have information as it affects my own senatorial district that these same armed bandits have continued their spate of attacks. And as at yesterday, they attacked a town called Beri and its environs, where they killed 8 persons, with many others seriously wounded and are receiving treatment in hospitals.
Another lawmaker presents a motion on the rising cases of gas-related explosions in Ogun State in the last 2 weeks.
In the last maybe 2 weeks, we have lost about 8. I was even told that 2 of those that was in the hospital died as well. So taking the number to 10, relevant government agencies need to take more appropriate steps to protect Nigerians from avoidable deaths by adopting relevant practices obtainable in other climes, especially in effectively monitoring the validity of LPG cylinders and the purity of gas being dispensed.
Not linked to insecurity, the upper chamber also honors the 21st Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, and 10 others who died in the plane crash in Kaduna on May 21st.
Also, to urge the federal government or the army to immortalize the Chief of Army, the late Chief of Army Staff, by naming a military structure in his honor, so that as an appreciative nation we will live to remember them.
Linda Akibe, Channels Television News.
And for Governor Dave Umahi of Ebonyi State, who is also the chairman of the Southeast Governors Forum, governors of the Southeast will do all they can to find the killers of Mr. Ahmed Gulak. Governor Umahi, who was a guest on our breakfast program, Sunrise Daily, appeals for calm while the authorities carry out the investigation.
It's very important that we meet and to let the family that we are pained so much to let our Northern brothers and sisters know that we are very pained, especially when it's not from our region. And that's the essence of that meeting. And to assure them that the governors of Southeast will do everything possible, working with the governor of Imo State and the security agencies to unravel the killer. The opinion of Governor of Imo State is very clear. And our directives and our intentions and our positions are also very clear. We want the police to do their job. If police had done some killings, well, it's not to our knowledge. And even if it comes to our knowledge, we are not police people. We don't do security work, in terms of the roles of the police. We are chief security officers that depend on security agencies, to do our work. So I think this is our position.
More on security now. 4 persons, including a police inspector, have been killed by bandits in Zandam village, Jibia local government area of Katsina State. The police spokesperson Gambo Isa explains that the bandits invaded the village on motorcycles, shooting sporadically to disperse the residents. Meanwhile, in Kaduna State, at least 4 persons have been killed and 1 injured as bandits attacked Goska community in Jama'a local government area, as well as 2 others in Giwa and Breningwari local government areas of the state. The State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Mr. Samuel Arwan, says the armed bandits invaded the community killing 2 males and 2 females on their farms. Meanwhile, a security operative identified as an army official has allegedly shot and killed a German-based Nigerian, Oguchi Unachuku, on his way to the Sam Mbakwe Airport in Imo State, where he was to board a flight back to Germany en route the Lagos Airport. Sources say a combined team of security operatives who were on a stop-and-search operation at a military checkpoint stopped him and his family, ordered them to step out of the vehicle, and after identifying himself, a heated argument ensued before he was shot dead by the security operative. When the news at 10 returns, about 2 million eligible Nigerians receive first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Plus, crude oil prices climbed to a 2-year high as OPEC and its allies agreed to continue gradual easing of output cuts in July. And that will be on Business News. Please join us again. Welcome back. Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State says victory in future elections in Nigeria will solely depend on the performance of public office holders. Governor Wike stated this while flagging off one of the satellite campuses of the Rivers State University in Eche local government area. He says any government that fails to provide infrastructure and security will be resisted by the people.
A day after flagging off the construction of the Rivers State University satellite campus in Emohua, Governor Nyesom Wike is in Eche local government area for the same reason. The siting of the campus in this part of the state is said to be part of Governor Wike's agenda to implement the original plan of the school.
Agricultural Extension and Rural Development, Crops and Soil Science Department, Forestry and Environment, Food Science and Technology, and Fisheries and Aquatic Environment. It is our intention to move these programs, which are already running in the main campus, to this campus and commence academic activities here soon after the commissioning of the projects in May 2022.
Governor Wike's special guest and former Vice-Chancellor of the University of Port Harcourt says the initiative will give opportunity to more candidates to gain admission.
This project will certainly be a catalyst for bringing accelerated development to the people who voted him into the resulting office to change their lives.
For Governor Wike, his administration is setting an unprecedented pace in terms of governance in Nigeria.
One thing I'm interested to note is that we did not just make promise that we are going to bring a faculty of the university to this place. We have released all the money to the university. So it is not going to be we are waiting for funds from government. The funds have been given to the university.
Thereafter, the project is flagged off. The groundbreaking for the Eche satellite campus of the Rivers State University is among the 20 projects to be flagged off for construction and 16 others to be commissioned by the Rivers State government as part of activities to mark Governor Wike's 6th year in office.
Let's cross over to Abuja now, and here's Markwe Ogun Yusuf.
Hello, Ijoma. It's good to see you. Now, the President has written the Senate seeking its confirmation of Major General Farouk Yahya as the Chief of Army Staff. President Muhammadu Buhari's request is contained in a letter to the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, and was read during plenary today. In the letter, the President said he hopes that the Senate will consider and confirm the nominee in the usual expeditious manner. Major General Farouk Yahya was appointed the new Chief of Army Staff by the President following the death of Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru in a plane crash. Now, some students of the Kaduna State University, KASU, today staged a protest over the recent hike in tuition fees in the school. The angry students, who chanted solidarity songs, blocked the road leading to the Kaduna State Government House to vent their grievance. They say the hike in some courses from 36,000 naira to 300,000 naira and 400,000 naira will force many of them to drop out of school.
In April 2021, the management of Kaduna State University announced an increase in the school fees payable by students of the institution for all the courses on offer. And like a thunderbolt, the news jolted the students. Under the new arrangements, they are to pay between 100,000 to 300,000 naira, a departure from the 30,000 naira they were paying in the past.
Corruption will definitely increase if they don't reduce our fees. What we are talking about is reduce our fees. We are not in support of the increment of our fees. We are not happy. We, the entire students of KASU, we are not happy.
Not happy with this development, the students marched to the Kaduna State Government House bearing placards with different inscriptions and singing solidarity songs, all in a bid to register their displeasure with the state governor, who they say promised to make education affordable. A few meters to the Government House, the protesting students were stopped from going further by a combined team of security operatives. Not deterred by the heavy security presence, they blocked the major roads leading to the Government House, insisting on seeing the governor or his representative, a situation which caused heavy vehicular traffic on the road. Their demand later pays off, as some of them were nominated to meet with the State Deputy Governor, Hadiza Balarabe.
Increment in the school fees, well, we were all afraid because we thought many of the students may have to drop out of the school because of the increment of the school fees.
The Deputy Governor tells the representatives of the students that the decision to increase their tuition fees is to ensure that they get quality education, but assures them that their grievances will be looked into.
There are reasons. Government is not mad to just come out and take a decision like that. No. There are antecedents. And we have looked at those things. And the way we can stay afloat is to just make that small increase. We'll take your letter, we'll go through it, and then we'll respond. And then we'll also open channels of communication and dialogue, so that we are all on the same page.
As the students return to their schools, waiting to hear from the government, they're hoping this dialogue will lead to resolution of the impasse so students can return to the classrooms.
About 2 million eligible Nigerians have received the first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine. 66% of the figure are frontline workers, while 12% of the population are the elderly. These figures were given by the Executive Director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Faisal Shuaib, at a press conference in Abuja today.
This is a meeting organized by the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency to give updates on the status of COVID-19 vaccination in Nigeria. While Nigeria is expecting another supply of the vaccine between July and September this year, the Ministry of Health is also looking at establishing local vaccine plants in Nigeria.
The COVAX facility has communicated that the upcoming allocation is likely from July to September 2021. The exact dates are still being finalized. Nevertheless, bilateral conversations are ongoing to see how we can access the surplus vaccines being stockpiled by developed countries. The Federal Ministry of Health is working with critical stakeholders to fast-track the establishment of local vaccine production plants in Nigeria.
The country representative of the World Health Organization and UNICEF applauds Nigeria for being one of the countries serious about the vaccination, but advises the government not to relent just yet.
This is to say that on the African continent, many countries are now looking at Nigeria to learn how to better roll out our vaccination program. So congratulations, Edie, for this achievement. WHO has challenged all of us, all the member states, to ensure that by September, we vaccinate at least 10% of our population, of our target.
The work has just started. The main challenge will be this month, when we have to reach out to the people for the second dose of vaccines. And today, I would like to request all those who have received the first dose of vaccine to please go to the nearest health facility to get their second dose of vaccine. Because if you don't take the second dose of vaccine, you are not fully protected.
The National Primary Healthcare Development Agency also informs the gathering that the Global Alliance for Vaccine and Immunization, through UNICEF and in partnership with the NCDC and MPHCDA, also donated personal protective equipment worth $8 million to be used by primary healthcare workers across the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory.
And talking infrastructure now, the federal government has opened bidding for the concession of 12 roads, which include Benin, Asaba, Abuja, Lokoja, Kaduna, Kano, Onitsha, Owerri-Aba, as well as the Enugu-Port Harcourt Highway. The head of Public-Private Partnership at the Ministry of Works and Housing, Mrs. Abimbola Asane, says over 70 companies have already submitted required documents for the exercise. She explains that the federal government has decided that concessioneering remains the most cost-effective and sustainable way to keep Nigeria's roads in good shape. She was addressing journalists on the sidelines of the bidding ceremony in Abuja. And that's all from Abuja. It's back now to you, Ijoma.
Thanks a lot, Markwe. The newly commissioned Heirs Life and Heirs Insurance companies will change the landscape of the insurance industry in Nigeria. And that's according to the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. He was speaking during the commissioning of both companies, affiliates of Heirs Holding in Lagos.
Heirs Towers in Victoria Island, Lagos State, a 5-story building housing 2 companies, Heirs Life Assurance and Heirs Insurance Limited. After 7 years of planning and strategy, both companies are officially opening their doors to the public. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is here to grace the occasion. Chairman of the group of companies, Mr. Tony Lumelu, is not unaware of the challenges they may face, but is confident of the offers the companies have.
We come with a strong tradition, a strong track record, not just of governance, but of business success and business turnaround, and most importantly, wealth creation for all. We believe that prosperity should be democratized. We believe that success for us, by God's grace in this business, will not just be the profit we make for shareholders, but will be the impact we create.
With the level of capitalization of these companies, Heirs Holding, Heirs Life and Heirs Insurance, I have no doubt that the Nigerian insurance market is poised to write big-ticket risks.
In addition to this achievement, Governor Sanwo-Olu commends the contribution of Mr. Lumelu towards the development of African youths.
When a leadership of a holding company believes that the wealth that we've made, it's not about yourself, it's not about your family. It's about giving hope to the hopeless. It's about giving hope to the vulnerable, to the people that deserve and require it like yesterday. And we know that they're changing lives, not only in Nigeria, but in the whole of Africa.
The management of the companies are excited by the number of products they have for people across all strata.
We have a bouquet of new products that we are bringing into the market, simple products. And definitely we also have those conventional products that we are actually have customized
And then we're going to have simple products that is affordable to every individual, regardless of your age, your class, your gender. So we have products for everybody.
With this official commissioning, the companies say everyone can now access their products, which they insist are now in the market.
For the rest of the business news, here's Anne Waudu.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial star 894 hash now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Jama. Hello and welcome to Business News. Let's begin with crude oil prices. They have jumped to its highest level in more than 2 years, and that's after OPEC and its allies agreed to press ahead with plans to hike oil output in the month of July. International Brent crude futures finished today's trading figures rising above $70 a barrel, while the U.S. West Texas Intermediate stood at $67.97 a barrel. And this is coming as oil producers seek to balance an expected recovery in global oil demand against the possible increase in the Iranian output. Meanwhile, the OPEC oil ministers are expected to meet again on the 1st of next month, as production policy beyond the period has not been decided. The Nigerian Export Promotion Council says that it is collaborating with the Commonwealth Secretariat to develop seamless and reliable data on export services in the country. Speaking at the inaugural meeting in Abuja, the executive director of the council, Mr. Olusegun Awolowo, who was represented by the deputy director, product development, Mr. William Ezeago, says there is no readily accessible and reliable data with regards to trade in services.
Collection of data, as you all know, it's difficult to collect data in services. You know, if you export physical product, and the customer will take entry and record it. But in services, it's a challenge that we don't have it. Even nationally, most of the statistics we are collecting for services is inaccurate. Sometimes it's not correct. So this platform support the Commonwealth is giving us is to help us to capture data, to create, and that's why actually what we are doing today is inauguration of the committee, of National Committee on Trading Services, whereby all the relevant MDAs in Nigeria that has to do with collection of statistics, management of statistics are members.
The sentiments in the local equities bulls turned negative at the close of trade today, closing the first trading session in the month of June, largely driven by price depreciation in medium and large capitalized stocks. Laddie Williams has the details.
Hello, welcome to the Stock Market Report. I'm Laddie Williams. It's the first trading day of the month and the bear is back. In today's trading session, the all-share index dipped marginally to close at 38,414 points. Looking at the market breadth, it was a stalemate with 17 stocks gaining and 17 stocks are declining. Let's look at the sectorial chart. Most of the sectors we track are down, except for the insurance sector, which posted a significant gain of 1.51%, thanks to the trio of WAPIC, Consolidated Hallmark Insurance, and Blasaco. Morrison Industries topped the gainers list, up 9.57% at 1 naira 3 kobo per share, while Champion Breweries topped the losers counter, down 9.91% at 1 naira 91 kobo. The trio of United Capital, Veritas Capital, and Eterna led the top trades counter for today. Anyway, it's the first trading day in the month of June. Let's hope this does not dictate the pace for the rest of the month. And that's the Stock Market Report. I'm Laddie Williams. It's back to you.
Thank you, Laddie. Stocks in the United States have started June mostly negative as investors assess the impact of another economic report on Federal Reserve monetary policy. Let's see the closing numbers for today. And that's Business News Tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu. The rest of the news at 10 continues now with Ijoma.
Banking, so easy, so simple. Dial star 894 hash now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Anne. China's Sinovac COVID vaccine has been approved for emergency use by the World Health Organization. It becomes the second Chinese vaccine to be approved by the Global Health Agency after Sinopharm. Here's Simon Pusey with more international news in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Peru has more than doubled its COVID death toll following a review, making it the country with the world's highest death rate per capita. That's according to Johns Hopkins University data. The official death toll is now more than 180,000, up from 69,000 in a country of about 33 million people. Prime Minister Violeta Bermudez said the number was increased on the advice of Peruvian and international experts. It comes 6 days before Peru is set to hold a presidential runoff election between leftist Pedro Castillo and right-wing candidate Keiko Fujimori. Indigenous groups in Canada have demanded a nationwide search for further graves after the discovery of the remains of 250 children at a former residential school. The find sparked outrage, prompting some in Canada to lay out tiny shoes at makeshift memorials. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said that searching for more mass graves was an important part of discovering the truth, but did not make any specific commitments. Canada's residential schools were compulsory boarding schools run by the government and religious authorities during the 19th and 20th centuries. A new report by the UN nuclear watchdog shows that Iran has failed to explain traces of uranium found at several undeclared sites.
So what we agree is what we agree, and there are no conditions or conditionalities. Absolutely not.
The findings are possibly setting up a fresh diplomatic clash between Tehran and the West that could derail wider nuclear talks. The United Nations watchdog hasn't been able to access data important to monitoring Iran's nuclear program since late February. The country started limiting inspections in a bid to put pressure on US President Joe Biden to lift crippling sanctions reimposed by Donald Trump. One of the Sicilian mafia's most notorious killers, believed to have murdered more than 100 people, has been released from prison after 25 years behind bars. Giovanni Brusca, who set off the explosive that killed anti-mafia prosecutor Giovanni Falcone in 1992, is now a free man. Brusca was the right-hand man of the so-called superboss Toto Riina, who died in prison in 2017. He was arrested in May 1996 and sentenced to life for more than 100 murders. Gunmen have attacked and wounded Uganda's former army commander, killing his daughter and driver in an assassination attempt. Witnesses say men on motorbikes fired several shots at the vehicle carrying General Katumba Wamalania near his home in the capital Kampala. Soldiers are guarding the hospital nearby, where Wamalala is being treated for injuries that are said to not be life-threatening. The leader of Western Sahara's independence movement is due to appear before a Spanish court to answer allegations of torture and genocide. Brahim Ghali, head of the Polisario Front, is being treated for COVID-19 in northern Spain and will testify via video link. Ghali and other leaders of the group are accused by human rights groups of crimes including genocide, murder, terrorism and torture. He has denied any wrongdoing. The French foreign minister has called for strict adherence to Mali's transition timetable by military authorities and reiterated France's condemnation of the coup in the country. Mr. Jean-Yves Le Drian said France shares the absolute priority given by the Economic Community of West African States to be the presidential elections on the 27th of February 2022 under the strict conditions outlined by the heads of state and government. Mali has had 2 coups in 9 months, with the military junta leader Colonel Assimi Goïta declaring himself transitional president. The first national Olympics team to arrive in Japan since the Games were postponed have touched down. Australia's softball squad waved to the media before making their way to a nearly 2-month training camp in central Japan. Everyone on the team and their coaching staff has been vaccinated, and officials say they'll be required to take a COVID-19 test every day of their stay. And finally, one of the wildest competitions in the world has made its return to the UK, the Car Jumping Championship. Drivers in the southern British county of West Sussex attempted to fly over a line of cars to become the undisputed 2021 car jumping champion. They were judged in 3 categories: elevation, distance and reception from the crowd. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to Channel Studios in Lagos.
Many thanks, Simon. Time now for some sports news. Defending champion Rafa Nadal has started his Roland Garros campaign in style after taking down Alexei Popyrin in straight sets for his 101st match win in Paris. Now, Nadal was tested by Popyrin, but he raised his level to secure the 6-3, 6-2, 7-6 victory after 2 hours and 26 minutes and will next face Frenchman Richard Gasquet in the second round. And world number 1 Ashley Barty has avoided an opening round exit at the hands of Bernarda Pera in the sight of her maiden Grand Slam win at Roland Garros. Barty overcame a spirited challenge from Pera 6-4, 3-6, 6-2 to extend her personal winning streak at the tournament to 8 and will face Magda Linette of Poland in the second round. In football, Carlo Ancelotti has left Everton to become head coach of Real Madrid for a second time. Ancelotti, the Italian tactician who managed Real Madrid for 2 years between 2013 and 2015, has departed Everton after 18 months in charge at Goodison Park. The 61-year-old succeeds Zinedine Zidane at Real, and the move leaves Everton searching for a 6th permanent manager in 5 years. And Barcelona have unveiled Eric Garcia after the Spanish defender joined from Manchester City included a $489.52 million buyout clause in the 20-year-old's contract. And that's a wrap on sports news.
Thanks a lot, Ayotunde. And the main news again. The president today vowed to go tough on those he said are bent on destroying the country, and he noted that the culprits will soon get the shock of their lives, as he promised full support for INEC and remove any excuse for third term. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thanks a lot for staying with us. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Good night.